to your home. It doesn't have to be your home for that evening presentation. And what I was planning to do, one could, like Valerie doesn't have a system, so she would do the model, which is basically solicit proposals, select a contractor, see if they're willing to do a discount. Since I have had the advantage of having Absolute Solar do my most recent, I haven't talked to Rob about this. I would anticipate hooking up with Absolute Solar is basically my partner for my workshop, assuming they want to do a discount for the group. And then basically, because I already have a system and I think that could work pretty well, having Absolute Solar as kind of my partner for my specific neighborhood meeting was kind of my plan. And I was just thinking of inviting basically my neighborhood.
Yeah, that sounds good. So you're basically talking about the potential for the three of us meeting first. And that's fine. That's perfect. That's a great idea.
Well, we're all experienced except Val in doing these solar workshops. So, and you know what, actually I went to one at Heidi's house, right, where she did a presentation at her house for her neighbors. So it would be, that's okay. Tentatively, at least for you, Roger.
We just need to get Valerie a system. That's all.
Well, see, now she would follow the typical model. The typical model would be she would solicit proposals,
right?
Select an installer, and then see if that person would be willing to do the discount.
Yep.
One thing too. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say one thing too. I mean, we just did this for a neighborhood or community in Grand Rapids where each additional person to sign up then adds an additional discount for the whole group. And it's just a per watt, and it's very simple. And so even if one is more difficult than the other, everybody still gets that same great per watt discount. And then the more that join, the lower it goes for everybody. So that's something that, I mean, obviously we'd have to see if other companies would offer similar things, but I know we would. We just did it. I mean, we're going to be starting that install in like a month or so. So
now, Ann Arbor is basically did it on the basis of, if you got 5 people, you get a 7% discount, 10 people, you get a 10%. It sounds like you had a little different type of system with the watts.
Yeah. So, because to me, I mean, if the percent thing is sort of arbitrary, you got to really be talking about what is the per watt, because then it's like, oh yeah, what's 7%? Then whatever company can just start 7% higher. It's not a real discount. So when you go the cents per watt, I mean, I know that's a little, maybe more complicated, but to me, that's the clearest way to make sure that everybody is actually getting a discount applied, because you're starting per watt, and then everybody gets a discount added to it, and then they're all at the same. And so for each additional person that signs, that's another cent or two off per watt for everyone. And so that's how we were doing it.
So just to understand too, so you start out with, let's say $3 per watt, just as an example. And one person signs up, you take off 10 cents or whatever. And the second person, you take off 20 cents for everybody.
Something like that. Right. And so if we're only going to, have, 2 people, then you could maybe do 2 cents or 10 cents per, but let's say there's 10, it most likely would be more like, 2 cents per for each, which, if for larger systems, that 2 cents starts to add up,
right.
So that's kind of how we had set it up, where, it's like 2 cents off or whatever per, and then just having some sort of cutoff date where, as long as you signed up by this date, then the additional discounts apply to everybody. And then anybody that signs up after that date, at least this is what we offered, we would still give that same discount that the rest of their neighbors got, except we couldn't retroactively, knock off another, there has to be an end date at some point, or else then, you have to, the accounting becomes really tough because you have all these invoices that have to be changed. It turns into the whole thing. But that also allows neighbors who maybe were not around or, had a change in a financial situation to still get that same great discount that every other neighbor got. And there isn't, any kind of a deadline on that. It can be, hey, and next year even, you'll get what every other neighbor got,
Do you have a chart or something from the Grand Rapids program you could send me to give me an example or?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we did is we started at 285 a watt.
Okay.
And then I had to double check, but I think it was a cent per watt off for each. They were all fairly small systems, only like 4 kilowatts or so. And then I think we had 6 or 7 that have signed within the deadline. So now everybody's getting, whatever that is, so 276 a watt or, something like that.
Gotcha.
But
Okay, that gives me
everybody
better-
gets it.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah. Yep. And then we just picked a date. We worked with like the head of their kind of neighborhood to, make sure that they had enough time to go through everything. And we set deadlines that worked with their schedule. And then blocked off time well in advance to do all the installs in the same, 2-3 week span. And then everybody gets it all at the same time. They all get the same price. Yeah, I mean, it seems to be a great method that is working. So yeah, definitely a good, start. It's not a huge group of people, but it's a great model, a starting point.
Let me ask Heidi, would you be interested in being that first round of workshops?
This would be in March?
Yes, March of next year. Yep.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is all tentative, so we're not, no
Yeah.
big commitments at this point. I just wanted to see if you would have an interest in doing
Yeah, I
that.
mean, I already have it all put together, right? from
Yeah, you already
previously.
did one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, super. So we have a tentative plan. Okay.
Sounds good.
My quick math, 5% of $3 is 15 cents.
Right. So yeah, it's one of those things too, where the size of the system, it plays such a huge role in all this, so that's why,
The cost of it.
yeah, plus with if you go off of cents instead of percent, it becomes much less arbitrary. It's just, this is the same for everyone, no matter what. So again, and we of course would be more than happy to approach it whatever way everyone thinks is best, whether that be putting it in a term of percentages or otherwise. I just think that the cents per watt, it works the best, but also that's industry sort of thinking, maybe, as far as price per watt. That's
Yeah,
what
well-
it's all about.
John will take a look at it. I think it's nice to have your firsthand experience, certainly as we design this system that works. Anyway, cool. What else do we need to talk about? I've got a meeting on the benchmarking next week, I believe. Not a lot to report.
Would it be useful, Leroy, to have an updated model for like public safety, as far as I don't know if it would be beneficial to have like, hey, this is the new model that would apply after HVAC updates to public safety, or that's probably not relevant. I'm just wondering if that could be a good thing to have done and sent to you prior, so you can sort of know this is the updated use total, and we've reduced by this much. But I guess that's all, sort of built into the bill.
I think when I tuned off, I was talking about different scenarios that we could present to staff and the board. So if this fits into one of those scenarios, great. I'm just not sure how that fits into the various scenarios.
Okay, yeah, and I'm just giving you kind of like a fully updated understanding of where those buildings are at and what's required. But no rush, I guess, for that.
I think it fits in. My brain isn't wrapping around that right now. If my thought is, if we, budget decisions are being made fairly soon, and I think it would be good for us to present to the staff and board about what the various scenarios are. So that might relate to the public safety scenario. if we're doing something on public safety versus municipal
Right.
building
Well,
versus
yeah, and-
the library versus
with
the
the-
parking lots.
Sure. And with the updated use, then I can actually, even potentially say this is approximately the size it would be needed, and this would be the approximate cost.
Yeah.
So, but again, I want to give it, an analysis that's as accurate as possible.
Yeah.
So that's why I would just need that, post HVAC update bill.
I will definitely get that to you.
Okay. Yeah, just whenever. I
Yeah.
just want to be helpful.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think that'll kind of wait. It's since the library came up as a potential scenario, I'm not sure all the politics with that decision, but
Oh, and the library too, when you were gone, we were talking about figuring out technically who owns it, who pays the bills. Is that the township?
no, it's not.
county?
It's the cattle Capillary District Library.
Okay.
So yeah, this doesn't really fit in with our township goals, but it may have such a public building. It's got a lot of traffic. It might be something that people want to do anyway to make friends with cattle or to reinforce that relationship, or to leverage additional dollars. But
Yeah, to me, it's the library, how many times do people go to the township building? I know it's very large and people see it and everything, and the ground mount, of course, everybody sees. But like the other buildings, public service, et cetera, people don't go there all the time. So the library, I don't know. I use it all the time, but it seems like it's a lot more visibility if it's about, people seeing things and then doing things. So
Yeah.
I think it'd be awesome.
maybe there's an opportunity to do like a small system like we did at Harris Nature Center.
Yeah, I was going to say
Sorry.
the library probably doesn't use a tremendous amount of electricity compared to some of these other buildings.
Yeah,
So I think a far smaller system would be much more effective there.
yeah,
Almost a demonstration system like at the Harris Nature Center. It doesn't even have to be, that much of the building's usage. It could just be, hey, look at their solar panels up there.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Well, thanks, everybody. Anything else for the good of the whole?
Leroy, I'm kind of curious with respect to the electric vehicle assessment. Has that kind of started yet, or is there a timetable when that might start?
It has started. There's a meeting at 2:00 today that Derek and maybe Rob are going to be part of.
Super.
I've got a wetland discussion meeting at 2:00. So I fortunately got out of that one. Rob has been a bit overloaded. We've had some sewer backups, and he's kind of one of the most knowledgeable people in sewer and water. He also handles the vehicle fleets. But anyway, he's been literally swamped this week, and we're getting down to the fine grain of like, how much is this? We've got 100 vehicles, how many miles, how many gallons do each of these work? And I'm not sure how easy it is, but anyway, we're making progress.
Did you say this is the first meeting or?
Nope, it's not the first meeting.
Oh, okay, so it's under progress. Super.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious where it's at. That's great.
Jeff Myram was right next to us at the Green Fair too, and he had some interesting. He drove his electric vehicle. He was a little disappointed that the Bolt has a recall right now, but he might join us at a future meeting if we like. Speaking of future meetings, October 21st would be the third Thursday in October. Does that work for you people?
Sure.
Yep.
Sweet. And I'll maybe see a couple of you on the 2nd, not sooner.
Sounds good.
All right.
Do we want to bring any of Heidi's cool toys to the event? Just a thought, but
Why not?
I don't
I-
remember what cool toys.
electric powered stuff, or we could fire up a Rogers chainsaw. Maybe get some attention. I thought didn't you do like an electric powered workshop at Michigan Energy Options once?
I did a small, that was so fun. Yeah, small solar stuff, and it was right before Christmas. So it was like, get these things for people for Christmas so they can, have solar in their hands and start thinking about it. Yeah.
That might be a fun thing. Maybe if we could hook up again with the Earth Club at the high school, they were
Mhm.
really good at the Green Fair. They might set up next to us or something and just share some of these cool things. I'm just thinking out loud, but it sounded
There
fun.
was the most useful small solar thing was something when we went to Disney World. Kids had solar powered baseball hats with fans on them.
How cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, I love that.
Well, maybe you
It
could
was
get,
a well-used gift, yes.
all right, that would be fun if everyone at the table was wearing one of those.
Yeah. Oh, it's 1:00.
Okay, well, just a thought, if any of that stuff is available, it'd spice up the table a little bit, it might be fun. But
Yeah, let me think about if I have something that's fun. I mean, I have like a little solar, charger, it's like a, I don't know. I'll think about it.
okay, alrighty. And
Yeah.
we will not need the tent if we're under the awning, Rob, if you're talking to Pete.
Okay, so I mean, we can bring it just in case that somebody
Yeah.
needs the space maybe or something.
It wouldn't hurt.
What about table, chairs? Probably still
We
need all
should
that.
have a table if you've got a,
Okay. Because
yeah.
I mean, I can have him just bring everything from before just in case, if the space is needed. But if it's not, then yeah, I mean, I can save him the hassle. So no tent, you think, and then no need for table or chairs either.
Technically, they've got all that stuff there. If he
They do.
throws it in there, if there's
Okay.
space.
All right.
It's real busy, you could have somebody over by the restrooms, the solar system. But there's not as much traffic over there, so
Right.
it's helpful to be sort of right in the
You wanna
center.
stay over with everybody.
It'll be
Yeah.
in the center of where the information table is. So,
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
great. All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Great to see you guys.
Yeah, take care.
All right. Sounds good.
See ya.
Bye-bye.